Good morning everyone. Today's topic of clinic is visual acuity. Objectives of this clinic are: in the visual acuity, the minimum angle of resolution, the visual acuity test type used in children above 5 years and adults for distant vision assessment, visual acuity measurement, technique, near vision assessment and chart type, and color vision testing. Sensations which result from stimulation of the retina by light are of four kinds: the light sense, the form sense, sense of contrast, and the color sense. By testing the visual acuity, we are testing the form sense. This sense is the faculty which enables us to perceive the shape of the object. Here, the cones play a predominant part, and the form sense is most acute at the fovea, where the cones are most closely set and most highly differentiated, and this falls off very rapidly towards the periphery. Visual acuity is the measure of spatial resolution of the eye, or the ability to discriminate between 2 points. There should be an unstimulated cone in between 2 stimulated ones to allow for proper resolution of 2 points or edges as separate. Foveal cones are usually separated by 2 microns corresponding to a visual angle of 25 seconds of an arc. Visual acuity test type. Depending on the age, various methods of visual assessment can be used for distant vision assessment, but here we are discussing about the most commonly used in school children above 5 years and in adults with Snellen chart and logmar chart. In illiterates, you can use the E-chart and Landlord's E type of chart, and for near vision, we will be using the Jaeger chart, Snellen's near vision chart, Times New Roman near vision chart, and Landlord's E type chart as well. Coming to the Snellen's chart. In Snellen's chart, the largest letter subtends an angle of 5 minutes at nodal point of the eye when at a distance of 60 meters from the eye. The subsequent lines will subtend an angle of 5 minutes if they are at a distance of 36, 24, 18, 12, 9 and 6 meters from the eye. Thus, a person with average visual acuity will be able to read the largest letter from a distance of 60 meters and the subsequent line from 36 meters and so on. But for the purpose of convenience, the patient is kept at a fixed distance of 6 meters. Here, the divergence of rays which enters the pupil is so slight that the rays can be considered parallel and accommodation is eliminated. This 6 meters distance can also be attained by using a plane mirror, and the patient is seated 3 meters from the plane mirror, because in a plane mirror the image will be formed 3 meters ahead, so total of 6 meters. A person with normal vision will be able to read every letter from the top, that is 660, up to the 6 meter line from a distance of 6 meters. So here is the Snellen's chart in which you can see 660, that is, this letter can be read from a distance of 60 meters by a person with normal visual acuity. The numerical convention used. We normally represent the visual acuity in Snellen's chart as 660, 636, 624 and so on. The numerator in this is the distance at which patient is from the test chart, or the and the denominator is the distance at which a normal visual acuity individual is able to read that one particular line. A person with normal visual acuity is expected to have a visual acuity of 6.6. Thus, for example, if a person's visual acuity is 6.18, he is able to read that line from 6 meters, which a person with normal visual acuity can read from 18 meters. Coming to the logmar chart. In logmar, MAR means minimum angle of resolution, and it is arrived at by dividing the denominator of Snellen's acuity by the distance at which the letter was read, that is, Snellen fraction is inverted and reduced. So here are the logmar charts. We can see that the number of alphabets in each of the lines is the same, though the size is decreasing. Whereas in the Snellen's chart, the number of letters in each and every line differ. As the size of the letter decreases, the number of letters in each line goes on increases. In logmar charts, the crowding effect is reduced. Visual acuity measurement. The patient is made to sit at a distance of 6 meters and is made to read the visual acuity chart from the largest letter downwards to the smallest that can be visualized separately with each eye using a trial frame. In this manner, the farthest point in which the patient can read is determined. If the patient is not able to see the top letter from 6 meters, then patient is asked to walk towards the chart. That is, if the patient is reading the top letter from 3 meters, the vision is recorded as 3 by 60. If patient is unable to see, that is, if from 6 meters patient is not able to see the 660 part, then the patient is asked to move up to 3 meters, and then the vision, if the patient is able to see the 60 numbered letter, then we are able to say that the vision is 3 by 60 and not 6 by 60. If the patient is unable to see from 3 meters, the counting finger is used, in which the fingers are shown to the patient in a dark background, and the distance from 3 meters, 2 meters and 1 meter at which the counting fingers can be counted by the patient is recorded. If the patient cannot count fingers even at 1 meter, then hand movements should be tried by moving the examiner's hand in front of the patient's eye. If even the hand movement perception is not possible, then we try for perception of light. This is done by shining torchlight at the patient's eye by closing the other eye. So, if the patient can perceive the light, then the visual acuity is recorded as PL, that is perception of light plus. Sometimes also after perception of light, it is required to identify all the quadrants, that is all the quadrants of retina and all the quadrants of fields of vision, the patient is able to perceive light or not. This is known as projection of ray, in which the light is projected upon the eye of the patient from up, down, right and left, and this is recorded as PR, that is projection of ray, accurate, that is plus or inaccurate in all four quadrants. And if the light is being shown from up, then that means the inferior part of the retina is being tested, and if it is the torch is shown from down, that means the superior retina is being tested. And same regarding the right and left. If patient fails to perceive light, then it is recorded as no PL. The above mentioned method of visual acuity measurement is done for unaided eyes initially. If the visual acuity is subnormal, then pinhole measurement is also used. If vision improves, it indicates that there is a presence of refractive error. Later, with a suitable refraction testing with lenses is done and the visual acuity is assessed with the corrected glasses, and then this is known as the best corrected visual acuity of the patient. Coming to the near vision, different types of near vision charts are used, whether denoted by J, Times New Roman denoted by N, and Landau's speed type chart. Near vision is commonly assessed at 35 to 40 centimeters, which is the normal reading distance. Jagger's chart has J1 to 7. J7 is considered normal for near vision. In Times New Roman chart, N6 is considered as normal. Normally, the newsprint, that is typically between N10 to 14 or J7 to 10, and this near vision is usually used mostly for the presbyopic correction after the age of 40 years. So, these are the near vision charts. For test type for illiterate and children, there are NMR charts, dots, E-charts, and its numbers. And otherwise, if the patient is literate, then there is this N6, N8, N10 for the near vision testing, and this is available in different languages. Whereas for Jagger's chart, it is mentioned as J1, 2, 3 and so on. So this is the age-wise assessment of the visual acuity. Depending upon the age, the test for visual acuity varies. For birth to 3 months, blink reflex, pupillary light reflex, vestibulo-ocular reflex, eye popping test, OKM and DER can be done. For 3 to 6 months, fixation and following of objects or small toys, response to occlusion. 6 to 12 months, differential looking test, stellar acuity chart, Stratford Drunkers. For 1 to 3 years, you can try the cardiac acuity test and marble gain test, e-gain test, Boyd candy test or Stryker ball test. For 3 to 5 years, you can use the broken wheel test, Landau T test, pictorial vision chart, stumbling wheel chart, And for above 5 years, Snellen's number, Snellen's chart and Logner chart can be used. So this is the in chart and this is the landlord's Q chart. Coming to color vision, two specific objectives of color testing is to know the exact nature of defect and whether the subject is likely to be a source of danger to the community. Color vision tests, isochromatic charts like ISHIHARA's chart or offer red-green color testing and vision defects, red-green color vision defects and Hardy and Hitler chart for blue-yellow anomalies. You can also use lantern test, Holmgren rules, Farnsworth, Munsell 100Q test and anomalous scope. This is the ISHIHARA test, which is useful for red-green anomalies. In this, if the patient is educated, the person is asked to see and find out this number, and sometimes even there are patterns which can be traced by the patient's finger and helps us to know if patient can differentiate between the colors. Thank you.